Hello, quick update for how the day went. Now, I'm not going to present this with a script or with anything at all. This is just off the cuff because, frankly, I'm too tired to write anything right now or to have anything, you know, polished. So, how did the day go? Anything interesting to talk about? Let me think. I woke up and I only got about 3 hours of sleep. Not a whole lot. Why? Well, I was uploading my latest video to the channel, and I realized when I was listening back to the video after it uploaded on the channel that the audio was only coming out of one speaker on my headset. So I immediately realized I needed to delete the video on my channel, go into my editing software, and then edit the audio track to make it mono instead of stereo, because when it was in stereo, sound was only coming out of one side, and that was the left side. So fixed it, and now it's all good. So after that, I got carried away watching a Futurama live action fan episode called Fanorama, which was kind of fun to see because I was a huge fan of the Futurama series growing up. And Megamind sequel review, where basically it was this angry fan yelling at the film creators about how much their new movie sucks and why it sucks. And yeah, I'd have to agree. I saw the footage. The thing looks like garbage, not gonna lie. It's sad because the original Megamind is such a funny and well animated, well presented movie that continuing that legacy was such a lame, forgettable, and ultimately disappointing continuation that is more in line with a cheap Saturday morning cartoon than a worthy successor to the Megamind's film, the first one, was very disappointing, I must admit. So yeah, and I watched like his sequel review. I watched his season 1 review of the show, and then I noticed it was like 4 in the morning, so I went to sleep, and I got up at like 7. Wait, no, it was 5 in the morning, and I decided to go to sleep until like 9. Although I use a app on my phone called Sleep Cycle, and based on the information from the app, it said that I apparently only got 3 hours of sleep, with like a space of time at the start where I was like trying to fall asleep, and a space of time at the end where I was, awake. So yeah, that's a shame. I really need to take my sleep more seriously. I am not doing that, and I gotta be honest, it's probably affecting my performance more so than I want it to, which isn't good. After waking up, I immediately went to take a shower because I was feeling pretty gross, not gonna lie. After the shower was done, I went out in the kitchen, and my mom had prepared me beef and egg and bean burrito. It was very large. I have to admit, I wasn't a huge fan of it, but it filled the gullet. But I thought it was just okay, personally. But hey, don't look a gift horse in the mouth, right? um, and then finally, we had to go to church. Now, before we left, I brought my best self journal with me, and it has the quick start guide, which I still haven't finished yet. So I decided to take that out and read it before the official sermon started. And then I would read it in case I felt like the sermon got repetitive or uninteresting to me. What did what was mentioned in the sermon from what I can recall? I'm trying to think. Don't let the issues of the world get in the way of worshiping God, and make God your number one priority no matter what. And then we had communion, and which meant we had the cracker and the, well, not wine, but like a grape juice. The entire environment was filled with people who were mostly middle-aged. There were a few people who looked like they were in their late 20s there, though, who were, sons and daughters, or maybe possibly Biola students, but they were like 20% of, and the 80% were people who were like in their 50s or 60s, or possibly older. Afterwards, we walked out, and I remember that I was discussing the whole disturbance last night that was supposedly caused by our neighbor. We have a neighbor who has a schizophrenic son who sometimes gets in other people's yards and knocks on their doors and yells, and that makes for a very unsafe feeling neighborhood. So it would be best if he'd be apprehended and put in like an asylum or something, because I gotta be honest, having someone go up in the middle of the night at like 1:30 knocking and then saying stop it, and then knocking, and then listening to their phone at full blast volume while knocking heavily at the door and saying stop it doesn't really sound like kind of presence you want around in the neighborhood. I mean, I'm not trying to be mean or anything, but there's such a thing as feeling unsafe, and that's how he honestly makes me feel, if I'm being quite honest with you. Anyways, moving on. So, after explaining that whole neighbor situation to one of the churchgoers there, I decided to grab 2 donut slices and go back to my mother and our family friend, who they were getting into discussion with this like old guy who was like just kind of yapping. He kind of took center stage. He didn't give, the he didn't really ask or have a two-way conversation with my mom or my mom's friend. He kind of just took center stage and was talking about his medical problems, and he was talking about every little detail, like his ear and all that stuff, and it was drawn out and boring. Didn't like it. So me and my family friend, we left early. Well, he continued talking to my mom. We arrived at the house. Oh, and of course, we were scheduled to go to the theater to watch a new movie called Nosferatu, which is a remake of an old like 1920s movie, like Victorian horror set in Germany about it's basically Dracula, but like the German version of Dracula, I think. And what caught my eye was the trailer. It looked very artistic, and the director, Robert Eggers, who's made many great films. So I was very much looking forward to this. I like the Lighthouse. I love the Vivitch or the Witch, whichever you prefer. And I thought The Northman had a lot of good ideas in it, so I was very much looking forward to seeing this. Of course, when we arrived, I decided to use that time to continue watching those Mega Mine show reviews. You know, some people spend their time talking with their friends or studying a new trade skill or, exercising. But I decided to use it watching a review of a children's TV show that isn't even good enough for adults. So, yay me, I guess. But that's why I'm doing this. I'm trying to build that self awareness so I can rip myself out of that loop and try to get my head in the game. Anywho, so yeah, my mom arrived from the grocery store. Wait, no, that was later after we watched the movie. She arrived back from church, and we she wanted to make cookies, so we did make cookies. We turned on the oven, put cookie dough on the parchment line baking sheet, popped them in. It was the Doughboy, Pillsbury Doughboy type of cookie in the big jar, the big value pack you get at the tub you get at place like I'm forgetting what it's called. Those big specialty warehouse grocery stores where you need a membership. Which, yeah, that's good value, especially if you use all their. Anyways, I'm getting boring. Let's move on. So, after that, I'm trying to remember what I did. I think we'll just jump straight into the movie because I can't remember. So me and my family friend are going to see this movie, Nosferatu, and we're able to get front parking in the theater thanks to my friend having a handicap plaque. And we go up, we show our tickets, and my friend gets those pretzels with cheese dip, and it's variety pretzels, so it's like everything bagels and salt and all that good stuff. And yeah, it was a pretty nice treat, I must say, although we did finish it before the movie even started, which honestly, though, I prefer. I don't like having buttery fingers when I'm trying to enjoy a movie, because I'm worried about like my skin and how that affects it. But I really needed to use the restroom. I think it's because like earlier in the day, I remember when I said I got the 2 donut slices. Well, when I got home with them from church, I had a cup of coffee with it, and I actually had 2 cups of coffee plus we had a Dr. Pepper. So, I just had a lot of fluids in my bladder that really was pushing me to get and throw it out. So, that's always fun. So yeah, this movie it's about to start. The trailers that played before were pretty interesting. There's like 28 Years Later, which is like a zombie movie. That one looked kind of cool. The editing was really interesting in that one because it was like using old-timey recordings while cutting to these like open fields and like creating this foreboding sense of scariness. Yeah, there was like this one trailer that looked really good. It was like called The Black Bag. It looked like some kind of spy thriller, but the way it looked was just so interesting. I don't know how to describe it other than it just caught my attention and made me intrigued what the story had within it. So that's definitely going on my list to watch. So yeah, those were like the 2 big trailers. Everything else, like, I can't really remember off the top of my head right now, so I'm not gonna bother mentioning it. But we sit there and the movie starts, and right before it starts, I need to use the restroom. So I do, and then I go back. And yeah, well, and I just did that interspersed throughout like 4 different trips. Like, I guess I just have a really small bladder, or maybe I need to go to a doctor. Maybe I've got early onset diabetes. I don't know. Maybe it's just drinking too much coffee. Whatever the case is, I needed to use the restroom a whole lot. So, yeah. Anywho, the movie itself was good. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very artistic. I thought it was very atmospheric. I thought that it was had a lot of tension in it. Um, and I love the way they did the Nosferatu Dracula character, because like they always have him reaching his hand out like this, and me and my friend, we kind of made fun of that after seeing the film. We were always like walking like this to the car, and that was pretty funny, pretty fun. So overall, I thought it was a very enjoyable experience, and yeah, I'm glad that I took my time out to go watch it. So we drive home, and yeah, we arrive, and my mom's in the grocery store picking up stuff for us to eat throughout the week. Apple turnovers, oranges, kiwis, beef, big roast, whole lots of good stuff. And I realized that it would and we found all this out through a phone call we did, or when we noticed her car was in the driveway and want to know where she was, and we got the scoop. But of course, my family friend wanted to go and pick up a few extra things for dinner, so she did that. And when she left, I got started on the shish kebab. So I started looking at a video called like cowboy shish kebabs or something like that. It's like this cowboy explaining how he does it. But the thing was, I made the shish kebabs were pre-made by my friend at Stater Brothers from the meat department. So I didn't need to watch how they were made. I just need to know how to cook them. But I thought the video was pretty cozy in a way. Like seeing this, dude talk about his process while being in like an open kind of ranch area definitely was a vibe that I very much appreciated. Excuse me. But ultimately, as I was watching the video, my mom arrived. And then I helped her carry all the groceries back into the house. And then after that, I decided, okay, well, you know what? I'm going to ask ChatGPT how to make a shish kebab. And basically what it said, because I wanted a direct answer, I didn't want to watch a whole video about it. And I mean, I guess I could have asked Google, but I recently got the $20 GPT plan because I was like using it to help me write my script. So basically I record in like my phone, and then I have that transcribed, and I ask it to remove anything that's way too repetitive or boring or needless information, and then I work from that draft after that. But yeah. Anywho, I ask it how to cook the shish kebab on the gas-powered grill outside. And basically make sure it's 400 degrees. For chicken, do cook both sides for 3 minutes, and then do indirect heat for about 15 to 17 minutes. For beef, 3 minutes on each side, and about 10 to 15 minutes in indirect heat. So I did that, and it worked out pretty good. Whole family was fed. Very yummy. And we decided to watch a movie called Solaris. Um, this film was kind of a bit on the boring side, if I'm being honest. A little plotting, a little long-winded, a little introspective. I guess some would call it cerebral, but I call it cerebral. Ha. But I just was I watch a movie to be engaged in the story and connect with what's going on and feel what the characters are feeling. And I mean, I kind of felt that, but at the same time, I didn't. And I mean, it had George Clooney in it, which was one of the big reasons why we decided to watch it, because my mom and our friend love George Clooney. But overall, the movie was just kind of dull and repetitive and boring, and didn't feel like it had a real point to it. But yeah, that's about that. And then after that, we parted our separate ways, and I decided to record this little vlog for y'all. And after I'm done recording this, I'm most definitely going to like brush my teeth, take my vitamins. I'm probably gonna watch something and then go to sleep while listening to like, I don't know, like an audiobook or binaural beats or whatever. I really don't know. But yeah, tomorrow I have the day off. So hopefully no, not hopefully, definitely, there we go, that's better. Definitely going to make great use of that time. And let's try to get 8 hours of sleep in tonight. That would be great. Great for mental health, great for clarity, great for focus, great for the immune system. Okay, well, that's pretty much all I have to say today, and thanks for listening. Have a good night, anybody who's listening or watching this. Goodbye.